No, let's head into round 11, I say. Very interesting week coming up.
All right, who? I'll let you go first because I've been talking a lot. Sure, bet of the week, mate. Who are you looking at here?
Well, obviously, I've been looking at this fixture for a week or two, and there's a lot, like, if you go on to do your footy tips, just about every game, it's like sort of 90% of tip this team and 90% of tip this team. But I look at it again, and I really don't see any sure bets, which is a bit ironic when basically every team is 90% chance to win. Um, you look at the Tigers against Adelaide. We've seen what Adelaide just did. They just knocked off the unbeaten team of the competition. Richmond is still a bit injury hit, so it is at the G. Tigers will probably turn it up. I'm not 100% sure on that. The Cats, I'm not even 100% sure on them beating Collingwood. I feel as though Collingwood obviously improved a little bit against the Port. They showed a lot more heart than they have done this whole year. But yeah, at the same time, I still we've seen Cats earlier in the year. Sorry, I think Hawthorn's a prime example I'm going to use at the G. Haven't torn them apart and won the way they probably should have wanted to. Obviously, it's changed since they got Jeremy Cameron, but I still can't get that out of my head. So I'm not even writing that in as a sure bet. Or the Eagles over the Bombers. I don't know. I always fancy the Bombers for an upset, but you never know. Obviously, Eagles are pretty poor away from home. This is obviously going to be at home, but you never know. That performance could transition. So I'm probably going to have to resort to Port Adelaide against Freo at Adelaide Oval, which is ironic given Port probably had the most disappointing win on the weekend. And Freo had probably the most gutsy win on the weekend. But in saying that, I think Port at Adelaide Oval, surely they just turn it up. They get the crowd behind them as Adelaide did on the weekend, and just really try and get a bit of a percentage boost because I think their form against top 8 teams are really poor, but their form against bottom 10 teams is a lot better. So that factored in with the fact they're going to be at home, obviously it's going to play into their favour. So probably going to lean towards Port as the short bet. But in saying that, I really don't have any sure bets this week. I'm not going to be surprised when I see I tip 3 out of 8 this week. Because just not confident on any of these bets at all.
Yeah, I actually have gone for the 9 favourites this week, so I completely agree
8.
with what you're saying.
8
Oh
now.
yeah, I have not changed that actually. But yeah, your thought process was pretty much the exact thing that went through my brain about 4 hours ago. So I wrote out my 8 tips. Well, yeah, it was 9 at the time, but 8 now, and wrote out my 8 margins. And yeah, I've got 4 games with a margin of 30. And yeah, the three you talked about, not confident 100% on them, like probably a 95% or 90%. But yeah, Port, most likely for me to get the dub. They just have to win, don't they? Like they can't
Yeah.
not win. Freo's travelled pretty bad this year. And yeah, just think Port have to do it really. And hopefully Lockie Jones goes big for my Supercoach team. But upset of the week, as I mentioned, I haven't tipped an upset. The closest ones I was, Hawthorn to beat Gold Coast was one of my closest ones, but don't have to talk about that now. But I've gone Carlton to beat Sydney. Like I'm not strong on it. I'm tipping Sydney by 10, but I just think Carlton aren't that far off Sydney, really. I just back everyone else more, really. I think the other 7 winners are all the top 7 teams we've talked about in our top 8 section. So, Sydney is the weakest out of that bunch, and I can't see why Carlton can't knock them off at the SCG. But yeah, not much logic to it, really. Just think Carlton are not a bad side. What about you?
I'm the exact same. I've got Blues over Swans. I actually might tip the
Ooh,
Blues for the sake of variety this week because I
yeah.
never end up tipping 9 or 8. So there's always a couple that screw me over. So I may as well back the Blues this week. Like you said, there's no reason for them to come out and knock over the Swans in front of their home crowd. Obviously, Sammy Walsh will run out and get 35. And I know Harry's obviously playing a bit injured, but hopefully he's a bit more right this week. We'll wait and see on that one. Hopefully Paddy Cripps as well can maybe hit his best. Obviously, with a bit more of the light shining on Sam Walsh, maybe this is the chance for Cripps to emerge. So you never know. I'm going to have the Blues in as the upset. But yeah, looking at all the games, I can really see a lot of upsets happening. I could see North toppling us, honestly. I could see Giants getting over Brisbane. I could see basically every other team that's not favourite winning. But as like you said, most like these are all basically top 8 teams beating the bottom 10. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, for that matter, maybe not. But at the end of the day, you never end up tipping 9, do you? So
No.
there's definitely going to be a couple that go the other way. So I reckon Blues definitely well within a shout against the Swans. I think that's the fact that we've both chosen that as the upset is probably pretty representative of hopefully what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think this could go one of two ways this round. It could be either really, really boring and the eight
Yeah,
favourites get up, or we could have eight thrillers on our hands,
yeah,
which would be exciting.
yeah,
Hopefully, it's not eight thrillers with no crowds. That'd be a bit of a shame, but I'm sure everyone will
yeah.
be loving it at home. Well, for the Melbourne games anyway. All right, game spread. Once again, wasn't too keen on many of these. I've got two down that I like for the betting lines. I've got the Dogs handicapped by 6.5 points. I've got them beating Melbourne by about 20. Just think last week you compare the teams. I know at the moment Adelaide's a harder task than St Kilda, but the discrepancy there was pretty large. One team won by 110, one team lost. So yeah, I can't see why the Dogs can't come out and beat Melbourne, not convincingly, but by more than 7 points. And then GWS, their head start is 27.5 against Brisbane. I've got Brisbane winning by 15 at the moment. I could see them coming out and pumping them, but as we've talked about a lot, could see them not. Giants, feel like they don't get blown out ever, really. They seem to, every game they're in is pretty close. So
Mm.
it's always like 15 to 20 point margins. So yeah, with a head start of 27.5, I think they're a solid chance there to cover that line. Any you like?
A couple. I like North plus 27.5 against us, to be honest. I think the last few weeks we've seen North have kicked over 10 goals or at least gotten over 65 points in every game. So I don't like our scoring power at the moment, especially given the fact that we are very inaccurate in front of the sticks. And I can definitely see North turning it on at Marvel. I think if obviously the crowd isn't probably going to be there, as I forgot to mention actually when I was talking about the sure bets of the week and the fact that Port Adelaide is going to be in front of their home crowd. But yeah, obviously, probably not going to be a crowd there if things go the way that we think they will. But I still think North they beat us with no crowd last season, and I could definitely see them getting within 27.5 without one. I think they have obviously hit a little bit of. Well, I've said they hit a little bit of form. They got pumped by Essendon, but they have hit a little bit of scoring power the last few weeks. They getting if they even if they get smashed, they're still kicking 60, 70, 80 points. So um, definitely see them getting within 27.5. The Blues as well, plus 15.5. If I'm going to back them, if I'm not going to back them, may as well back that line. So I don't mind that one at all. The Swans don't have the greatest ability to blow out teams either. I think that's obviously changed a little bit this year, but at the same time, I can still see Carlton getting within 15.5 if they are to lose. So those two, yeah, like you said, there's not too many to like this week. I don't like any of the winning spreads because every time I don't know, every time I back a team to thump another team, the spread still does and I back the line, it doesn't get up. It's only like a mediocre 5 goal win. So yeah, I'm going to back those two this time and sort of hope that there's a few underdog thrillers this week because that's going to hopefully aid my lines this week.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, there will be
Yeah.
there's not going to be eight floggings, so it's just about picking the right ones, really. But yeah, I also did not mention this earlier, but I have to say, shithouse from Collingwood, their crowd on Sunday was pathetic. I know I was against the interstate team, and I know they're coming second last, but they're meant to be the biggest club in Australia, which they
Mm.
probably are statistically, but I expect more from them. I expect it from Hawthorn, glory hunters, but not rocking up once they're shit. But Collingwood are, come on,
Yeah.
stick it, fat lads. Speaking of Collingwood, I read the worst article of all time this morning about Nathan Buckley and his new
Yeah.
girlfriend. And
Oh, yeah.
there was like paparazzi photos. I was like, whose job is that to like find Nathan Buckley on the street and like take photos of him and his girlfriend walking? I was like, this is the worst piece of journalism ever. But anyway, that's us for another episode, mate. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I don't know what makes the 10 out of 10. There was no.
We'll know. We'll know when it happens.
Yeah, it's a bit like love, When you know, you know. We didn't forget any Caleb Daniels or well, I won't put you in that. I didn't forget any Caleb Daniels this week in the draft, so that's a positive. But yeah, just got to wait for the 10. Really, can't label it on a wrong one. Can't go early. When we know, we'll know. But thanks for joining me again, mate. Keen to go check if this moon's gotten any redder because I don't think it has, but hopefully,
it'll be interesting to say. Oh, and just a very quick message I've just received about Victoria's state of lockdown. I've just had a look at a fake article that I've just been trolled by as I've opened that, so never mind. But it's a bit of a funny send-off. But yeah, can't wait for the Dogs D's on Friday night. You'll know what I'm talking about when you get onto this Messenger. But yeah, you'll know exactly what I mean. To anyone that's listening, ignore that. I've just been absolutely trolled by a message I just received. But
to be honest, by the time this goes out, there'll probably be a lockdown actually happening. So
yeah, to be honest,
no one will be trolled listening. It'll just be us.
Look, the caption said Dan Andrews announces Victoria to go to stage 5 at 11:59 p.m. on Friday. Has a URL. I've clicked the URL and it's not what I thought it was. So that's exactly what I was referring to.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's a massive. I've taken the bait there, but
I might go on the private browser. This sounds dodgy.
At the end of the day, on the group chat that this was sent on, there weren't any reactions yet. I was the first to read it, so I assumed it was legitimate, but apparently. It's a bit of an anticlimactic way to end the potty, but yeah.
Oh, well, all right. Whether it's from your home or in the stands, enjoy the week of footy. Hopefully it's 8 good games, not 8 floggings. And yeah, to the Gold Coast and Hawthorn fans, enjoy your week off the sport. Not sure what you'll get up to. Well, Gold Coast, we've made the joke many times, but not many out there. Shout out for going for AFL on the Gold Coast. But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me, Rowie. Same time, same place next week, I'm sure. Maybe with Pilchon, we'll see. But catch you soon. Cheers.
Catch you soon.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? No! Unbelievable! Balotelli! Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.